In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to start your contour lines from using your photo and getting them onto your paper grid. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is make sure you've got your ebony pencil and your kneaded eraser. And then what I like to do is actually number each of my squares so that when I'm really concentrating, I don't have to worry about counting things out. Okay? It would also be a good idea for you to just lightly do the same on your final draft. So there's 1, there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So you'll have some extra paper left here, which is completely okay. So what I'm going to do first is I want to figure out where my drawing is actually starting. So I start, here's 1 and 1. Here's 2 in the first row, and I'm going to look and see where my line starts. So kind of like when you read sometimes, you take your finger and you kind of trace over the word. I sort of do the same thing when I'm drawing. Okay, so I'm going to start here, and also remember that this square is 1 inch and this square is 2 inches, so that you're going to double the size of your image. So it's a 1-to-2 ratio. So I'm going to start out here. Remember, I'm just doing the contours. So I'm just doing the outlines. It can be a very light sketch sort of line, but you just want the outlines for right now. You'll end up doing all the shading and values later. So I'm going to start here. Start to come up. Okay, now I'm in my third box, and I see I've got this little lump coming up here in the top of his helmet. So I'm going to come up a little bit and come down a little bit. I'm going to start to kind of curl around this way. And I can kind of see that the edge of his helmet right here kind of runs into the line here. I also notice that look at where this ends right here, and look at where I end right up on my paper. I know that the proportions aren't correct. So you also want to try and figure out, when you're drawing, you want to try and make sure that you're ending in the spot that you need to end. So I kind of see that I need to change the angle of this line a little bit and kind of come up a little at a different angle. So it may take you a little bit of time. You may have to try and play around with it a little bit, but you get used to it after a while. You just want the main features and you want the outlines, you want the contours. Don't worry about shading the highlights and lowlights and things like that yet. Just get the basic idea of where everything goes, the eyes, the nose, the mouth, or whatever you're deciding to draw, okay? Once that's done, then we'll work on getting the values put in there. So for right now, you just want light contours, outlined, so you can kind of map out the proportions of where everything is. If you get to a spot that's really difficult and you can't quite figure out where things are, what I like to do is I like to then kind of make some marks in my large square and kind of divide that large square up into quarters and then just break it down, almost like you're looking at each pixel of your image. So you're just going square by square and drawing what you actually see in the square, and that'll help you really get the proportions and really get everything where it's supposed to be.